is Lon Safko, co-author of the Social Media Bible, published by John Wiley & Sons, the most comprehensive book ever written on the subject of social media. And today we are here with Gary Vaynerchuk. How cool is that? The Wine Library Director of Operations and host and founder of Wine Library TV. And we're going to be speaking about community building, social media, and of course Wine Library. And the conversation wouldn't be complete without talking about Gary Vaynerchuk as well. So Gary, it's awesome to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this is cool. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are, what your background is, what you're out there doing?
Sure. So, I host a online wine show called WineLibraryTV.com 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and I started that in February of 2006, and it's almost 3 years old now. So that's pretty wild. Almost 600 episodes have been bagged out. I also am director of operations, co-owner with my dad of a wine retail company in New Jersey called Wine Library that I've been running for the last 10 years. I launched WineLibrary.com in 1997, and that is how I started getting into the online space. And because we were successful, I had a couple of developers in-house that were very, tech-savvy and on the pulse and knew what was going on, and they started watching Zay Frank, the show, and Rocket Boom as soon as, video blogs started kind of hitting the scene in 2005. And it became very obvious to me that that was going to be a platform that was going to be highly successful and important. I wanted to be a part of it, so I started Wine Library TV in February of 2006. And it's been a pretty big branding, opportunity for me. It's built a big following. Almost 80,000 people a day watch the show. It's led to a lot. And then, in October of 2007, I decided to start video blogging under my name, GaryVaynerchuk.com, to kind of talk about the business behind Wine Library TV and just business in general. It's something I'm obviously very passionate about as well, and I wanted a platform for that. And so that's been quite successful for me and has led to a lot of, speaking engagements and consulting and opportunities on that level. So being very entrepreneurial, that's been fun. Being artistic with the wine stuff, that's been fun. So I've been kind of scratching multiple itches.
Scratching multiple itches. So you started, like most of us, kind of with a brick-and-mortar type company.
Yes,
correct?
That is correct. I come from a very traditional retail, old school, liquor store is about as old school background as you can get. So that's the world I come from. But, if you take it back further, I come from the lemonade stand world and the baseball card world and the snow shoveling world. So I've been very kind of entrepreneurial my whole life. What's great about social media and where the world's at now is, you have the ability to build much bigger brands much quicker at much lower price points. And that's a very big, change in the way business is done in America. The gatekeepers are kind of out of control, have lost control, actually. No more editor or producer telling you what you can or can't be or deciding whether you can speak to the American people or the people of the world, actually. We now have tools that allow us to communicate our message, whatever that may be, with zero cost, just the time and effort we put into the community. And that is the fundamental shift of what we're living through right now.
And I'm so glad that you say that, because I make presentations on social media all over the country. I was just in Miami last week, and I always say that social media is changing the way that we do business. And unless you're planning on retiring in the next 2 years, you really need to understand what social media is. And I'm excited to hear that you got the bug like I did 2 years ago. I'm not a social media person per se. I'm a high-tech kind of a person trying to stay in the cutting edge of marketing. In my career, I built companies. But when I saw social media, I got as excited as I think you did, because for the first time, as you said, there are no gatekeepers anymore. Media is opened wide to us, and it puts even the small, in your case, a relatively small company,
sure,
like Fortune 500, on the same level playing field as the big guys. And the only thing that separates us is creativity.
Yep. And commitment to our community. I think that's the real equalizer to money for somebody small like myself compared to, the Wine Spectator or somebody, a comedian compared to a top-notch comedian that's on Comedy Central. Mm-hmm. Whoever leverages their community and whoever builds a community better is in position to win, whatever that may be. And so time, once again, continues to become important and valuable, and time has definitely become more valuable than ever and important. And I'm very excited that people that care and give back are going to win. And I think that's a very powerful message, a very good message, and a very big opportunity for a lot of people.
That really is powerful. People that care and are willing to give back are the ones that are going to win. And that really is what social media is, I think.
I think so, too.
Can you tell us, I mean, you've had some phenomenal success with Wine Library TV. You had mentioned 80,000 people a day look at your videos. And I got to tell you, I love watching your videos. I think they're really awesome. But this is something that kind of grew, didn't you, during when I mentioned at the conference? You had mentioned that you basically just set up a camera, you spill wine, you live in Jersey, so there's police activity outside. You just, I think it's great. Can you tell us a little bit about how you built that success?
You know, I think it's one step at a time. I think a lot of people ask me, what was the tipping point when you got on Conan or when you were on Ellen or Nightline or Wall Street Journal? And I think when you don't focus on tipping points and just focus on pumping out good content, and you just focus on hustling every day and answering your email and caring about your community, putting out good content, I think you start realizing that you don't need a tipping point, and that's not really what fundamentally separates a victory from a loss. I think that, you know, for me it was just pumping out good shows every day and becoming part of the community, leaving comments and blogs and answering my email and creating accounts in things like Facebook and Twitter and, you know, just working it. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the way to success. It's always been. The only difference is I think that now your fans and your consumers and the people that care about you have the ability to build you quicker and easier and better because they have tools. Word of mouth has changed, not the way you build a brand.
And you had mentioned that you pump out good shows. And getting back to just the quality again, when I speak in my presentations, I mentioned that quality is not what it used to be, is that sometimes you can just punch out. As long as the content is good, you're passionate and you're dedicated to it, that just putting a camera in front of you is plenty enough if you meet the other criteria. And that in the old days when we produced television shows or television commercials, there was always this corporate message behind them, and that nowadays you really don't need that type of polished presentation. Do you find that true?
Yeah, I mean, I think the message is the whole game. I think the less polished it is, sometimes the better. I think that the lighting or the mic or the camera you use is so irrelevant and just such a stumbling block by many producers, many people that want to get into the game. They spend so much time on trying to figure that part out, and that part has no value, none. I really think zero. I think some of the, you know, I mean, it's got to be watchable, and you got to be able to hear it. But outside of that, that's the threshold.
Yeah, because if you're not spending $50,000, there's no hidden agenda. It's just real. It's sincere, I think is the word you used.
Yeah, I think authenticity of the message is what really attaches people to the to the product, to the service, to the individual, and I think it's quality of message, not quality of the way we consume it or the video or the sound. So I think it's very obvious what works. You know, people like tradition, and since commercials, I mean, listen, commercials didn't need to get into $1 million budgets. They just did because they had the money and people weren't making smart decisions. Really. I really believe that. So I think that, you know, you've got to really take a step back and understand what people react to. And people react to things that are authentic, real, transparent, and deliver. And delivering, listen, some people really love watching something in HD. I get that. But I don't think that's going to be the differentiator from victory or defeat. I really don't.
I totally agree. And social media really is just a collection of digital tools that make this stuff available on the Internet.
Of course. All this is the phone, the car, the fax machine, the pencil, the paper. These are tools. They're nothing else. There's no magic bullet in this.
Yeah, and what it really gets back to, I think, is something that's key and that really most of the people aren't understanding when they talk about social media. It's using these tools to build community, and that's something that you've been phenomenally successful at. Can you just kind of encapsulate what the term building community means? Building community is about giving a crap. That's where I've separated myself from everybody else or whoever else, you know. I mean, there's other people doing a great job, but, you know, to me, it's about really caring about your user base, listening to them, making them involved, letting them participate, caring about their thoughts, letting them have their say in molding the direction of what you do. And so, you know, to me, it's just about caring. It's about taking the extra effort to read your emails, to respond to them, to, you know,
meet them in person, to send them little swag gifts, to just care. I mean, it's a very simple process. It's just one that's costly and of time and money, and that's something people aren't willing to invest.
Well, yeah, like in the old days when we built relationships, the local butcher, we would walk down the street and he would every once in a while throw in a handful of extra meat or give us a special cut. And
Baker's dozen, right?
Yeah, Baker's dozen. Perfect example.
Baker's dozen.
That's all we're talking about here.
Yep.
And you had mentioned emails. You get a lot of emails, but you also find a way to make sure that you answer every single one of them. Wow. How do you do that?
It's tough. It's very tough. It's definitely my biggest stumbling block, and it's not scalable, and it's going to go away. It's people know it. I've been doing it for multiple years. I think a lot of people appreciate it. I really care. And to me, it's also about research and development. It's not just about the community. It's about the R&D. I mean, when you read that many emails, you get a very quick pulse of what people care about and what they're into and where things are going. So instead of reading other people's blog posts about where things are going, I'm in the trenches with the community to figure out where things are going.
I love that. So you're actually listening to your customers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need another marketing executive to write a book or write a blog post for me to know what's going on, because I'm in the trenches seeing it happen.
And again, it's listening to the customers, hearing what they want. It's building that personal relationship.
It's really not complicated stuff. It's just that, once again, I just don't think people are willing to step up and do it. It's hard. It takes a lot of time, and a lot of times it's a very lonely job. Answering emails at length is lonely and can be boring if you view it that way. But to me, it's stimulating and exciting.
And you had mentioned that your plane trips are kind of like a haven, because that gives you the opportunity to actually address the hundreds of emails you get a day.
Yeah, no question. I mean, that's the whole game.
And one of the things that I thought was interesting is when I sent you an email that you had even a video that said, I've noticed that you've sent me a video, and I promise I'll get to you. Even that I thought was pretty classy, that you're telling people ahead of time, just be patient, you are important to me, and you're doing it face-to-face through video. I thought that was very clever.
I appreciate it. I think it's one of my cute little, tricks that has a lot of value, and I'm proud of it,
That's great. And one of the other videos that I just have to mention here, I think it's one of your best, where you say you get the same email over and over and over, and that is, how do I monetize my blog? And you start out with, I get 17 times a day I get this email. Now let me just show you, and I love that hands-on approach. You went into Google, you typed in wine, you got a beer list, you called the beer glass company manufacturer.
It was wild. I mean, those are one of those great moments where you get lucky. I mean, that could have got an answering machine,
I thought it was terrific. I mean, you sold the guy. Now he's ready to hear you when you come back. He's ready to talk turkey with you.
Yeah. I mean, once again, pretty lucky. And, the guy was pretty funny, right? He's, telling me, Google's the premier place to, advertise. And, he's a funny character. But at the end of the day, I just want to show people that you can do it. You have to go out and take it.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to be given to you. You've got to go out and grab it.
And that's what a lot of people do. They set up a blog, they type a couple of articles in there, posts, and they think the world is going to be the path to their door.
It's really unbelievable.
Yeah, in one of my conferences, I say, if you're familiar with the old term, if you build a better mousetrap, the world will be no. You build a better mousetrap, you'll just have more dead mice.
You're darn right.
You got to work it, man. And some stats. I'd love to hear those. Everybody wants to kind of get an order of magnitude. You've actually done 600 videos. That's amazing. Yeah,
as of right now, on November 24th, we're at 587, I think. Or let me just see. We are, last Friday was 582.
Wow. That's absolutely amazing.
So we'll hit 600 before the end of the year.
That is absolutely amazing. Is there some other stats, like number of viewers or number of hours?
About, hours would be a great one. I should compile that. 80,000 viewers a day through lots of platforms, especially iTunes, and a lot of viewers through Hulu, which is a great distribution deal for me as well.
Huh?
I guess the stat that I most care about is hundreds of emails answered every day,
Yeah.
To me, all those stats are important and they mean something, but the fact that I interact with my fan base on a level that's never been really done before, I assume some of these, 1950s rock stars, TV stars did answer a lot of fan mail. That's kind of gone by the wayside. Mm-hmm. But, and a lot of people just don't interact, and I get why. They're very busy. Listen, I'm very busy, but you make a choice. I could be very busy doing other things, but I feel like this has value, being very busy to be in the trenches with my community, and to me that, I think, is very important.
Yeah, and I totally agree with one of the companies that have been running for about 10 years, Paper Models, Inc. We provide downloadable, three-dimensional architectural models for kids for school. And I got every single customer service email into my email. And I'm the president, and I don't have time, but yet I make the time. And what had happened, I noticed, is over the last couple of years, by listening to the customers, I was able to build a better inventory of what they were looking for. And I all but eliminated customer service by solving the problems and looking for systemic errors. But as president...
No question.
I would have known that.
Yep, 1,000%. I mean, you got to listen. The end.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not super hard.
Yeah, it's not rocket science.
No, it's not.
And you have really built a huge, loyal customer base or fan base. Your community building this fan base, it led to some other kinds of spin-offs, like books and acquisition offers. And can you tell us?
Speaking fees and consulting. I mean, it's led to so many opportunities for me, and I think that people need to realize there's so much opportunity out there. You just got to grab it. And, that's what's happened for me. I mean, a lot of, 2-book deal, 6-figure book deal from the wine side, tons of consulting and speaking gigs from the business side, just a lot of different opportunities, lots of television offers, just opportunities. And as long as you keep positioning yourself with opportunities, I think that's very important.
Well, absolutely, yeah. You got to be out there to be participating, to be playing. And you already wrote a book, and you got another deal on a second book.
I'm sorry?
I said you wrote a book, and you've got a deal on a second book?
Yes, I have a deal on a second book, which I'm going to start writing. And, there's a good chance in 2009 I'll probably strike a television deal because I'm just getting bombarded with good offers. And, there's merchandising opportunities once you build your niche. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that would buy Gary Vaynerchuk, glassware. Sure. And decanters. And so, I just think it's about building your brand equity and then leveraging it. I mean, it's been done before. The only difference is there's new platforms to do it. That's all.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you had mentioned in the conference is that this wine TV has been very wildly successful, and that really it gets back to some of the clever observations that you've made and implemented, so that you've actually set up a website, www.garyvaynerchuk.com, because now you're building your own personal brand. Can you tell me what we can find on that website?
That's when I really talk about business and marketing and the stuff kind of we're talking about today in length, some of the videos you just talked about. I mean, I can't do a pitching somebody cold on a phone video in Wine Library TV, so I needed a platform to do that, to help the community, to show them what I know, and I just want to be a part of it that way. And that's been very exciting and really led to a lot of my monetizing opportunities, because that's where Fortune 500 companies have seen my videos and want a piece of that kind of thought process as well.
So you've actually had offers to join advisory boards on big companies?
I wouldn't say on Fortune 500 companies. I've been given opportunities to come in and speak and get paid to consult on an hourly rate. I've definitely been offered a lot of advisory board equity plays in medium to small companies and tons of startups. That's almost every day. So, yeah, it's led to a lot of that kind of opportunity.
That's cool. You ever think of doing a book just on the new form of marketing?
Absolutely. I can't wait to write a business book. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, and some of them are really successful. I mean, David Meerman Scott just did the new marketing and PR, how social media has changed that, and that's been on the New York Times bestseller for half a year, and he's had 250,000 downloads of one of his ebooks on the same subject, and it just seems like a perfect match for you.
It's definitely out there, and timing is right, so no question.
And if someone was to get started, I mean, obviously this is the next question. They come up and they say, Gary, man, you've inspired me. What should I do? How do I start building my community? What's the right approach here?
First and foremost, it starts with your content. It's about, doing what you love. Look yourself in the mirror and say, what kind of content do I want to put out to the world? What kind of service, what kind of product do I want to sell? What kind of personal brand do I want to be? Whatever that may be. Once you love what you do, if you sell vacuum cleaners and you love it, then you're in the game. That's fine. Then now we're in the game. But if it doesn't start there, you've already lost. So you've got to really believe in what you do in a business, whether you're the personal brand, whether you sell a product, whether you sell a service. If you don't, nothing I tell you will work, because the amount of hours that it takes to win this game is so great that if you don't love it, you're not going to be putting the hours in.
So we're talking about, again, passion.
Passion. It starts there. Now, after that, you got to enthrall yourself into the community. Sign up for the forums that do the things that you like. Talk about the things you like. Put out content. Leave comments on different blogs. get out to the community, go to events around what you do. You've just got to network. You've got to network virtually, and you've got to network in the real world. And that's it. The pure hustle of that. If you're into if you're into tires, then you need to find every tire website on the internet and become part of that community, whether it's leaving a comment or starting threads in a forum or, contacting the person that owns that site, if it's a one-way conversation, and figuring out if you can guest blog, anything that can give you a voice in that world.
And again, I think everybody ought to look at that video about how to monetize, because you did just that. I mean, you just typed in whatever the keyword for your industry was. You looked at the paid links, because those are the people that are most aggressively participating in that industry, and you simply go to their website, go to the About Us, pick up the phone and call them, participate.
Yep.
So we got passion and we got participate. Is there anything else that you'd like to add about community building, wine library? I
did a video, and it's called PHCC, Passion, Hustle, Community, and Content. And that's it. I mean, those are the 4 cornerstones of building a brand, so we've touched on them, like you just said, and that's it. I mean, it's caring about your user base. It's about putting out good stuff, good service, good food, whatever the heck you do. It's about working your ass off, because that's the only option, and it starts with the passion, because you got to love it, because all the other things crumble if you don't.
And that's why I love hearing you speak, is because you do have that passion, not only for the wine library, but just for marketing and people in general. I love that.
Yeah, people in general. I mean, that's where I get really lucky, because for me, it starts with people. And people feel that. You can't bullshit that, and that gives me a big opportunity.
I love it. How does people find out more about Wine Library TV, and your personal brand?
WineLibraryTV.com is the website. GaryVaynerchuk.com. You're going to have to link that up, because nobody can spell Vaynerchuk. That's it. Whatever people do, they watch my stuff, they don't watch my stuff. If they're listening to this, or when they read this, if they leave with anything, do what you love. It starts there. That is the root of everything. And if you can accomplish that, you're in the game.
Awesome. And those are great words to live by, Gary. Thank you. I'd really like to thank Gary Vaynerchuk, the Wine Library Director of Operations and host and founder of Wine Library TV, for being with us here today to talk about community building, social media, and honestly, Gary, thank you for taking the time, really.
Thanks so much.
This is great. This has been Lon Safko, co-author of the Social Media Bible. Be sure to check out our other valuable social media tactics, tools, and strategies that can be found in the Social Media Bible book and its companion website, www.thesocialmediabible.com. For more information about me, Lon Safko, go on over to my website at www.lonsafko.com. And Gary, truly, thank you for sharing those insights with us today.
Thanks so much.